Welcome back to FRC Media live on Facebook, and you're also going to be able to see this on our Channel 95 cable television channel. I'm Keith Tebow. You know, Governor Baker last week announced officially that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts schools K through 12 will be learning remotely through the end of the academic year, which will be the end of June for some locales. And, you know, we've had the opportunity in the past to speak with Superintendent Matt Malone. We hope to do so again before the end of the school year to see how things are going. But we wanted to get a student's perspective today, particularly those that are graduating from Durfee High School in 2020. So I'm pleased to be joined right now by Noor Issa. Noor is the student body vice president and a senior at Durfee High School. Noor, how are you? Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Let me just ask you first, tell me a little bit about yourself. What has been your interest at Durfee? And where do you maybe hope to go from here in terms of a career?
I'm a senior in high school, as you know, and I am student body VP, as you also know. So student government is my main thing. I also play soccer. I did theater for a while at Durfee, and among other clubs. And as soon as I graduate, I plan on studying communications and psychology in college with a minor in Spanish.
Still haven't decided on that college choice yet?
No, we're almost there. It's been a little bit more difficult to decide, with the given situation,
Yeah.
but making the decision, almost there.
Yeah, so let me ask you about that as we're on this thread. There's been a lot of stories written about, who knows what's going to happen with education moving forward. I know that there's already discussion of some colleges having their summer classes remotely. There's still talk that maybe even the fall semester is going to happen remotely. Is that playing into some of your decisions about whether you want to go to college right away or at least go away to college right away?
Of course. So I actually talked to some of my friends about this as well, like prior to this, to get their input. And it's definitely something to consider because a large part of what we pay for, because of course, college, everybody knows, is super expensive, no matter where you go. So a large part of what people pay for is the campus, for example, or the campus life, or the location itself. If you want to live in Boston, obviously that's going to be more expensive, but it comes with benefits such as increased opportunities, etc. So if the learning is going to be remote, then, a lot of my friends and I have been like, is it even worth it to go in the fall semester? Is it worth it to go to a certain school over a cheaper school if it's all going to be done from the same location? And it's just been harder without college tours, because a lot of us, spring was the time for college tours. I played soccer, so fall was busy for me. My friends work, so we were going to tour schools and never got to. So it's definitely been harder, but we have to make do with what we have. So
let me ask you, for you as one Durfee High School student, how has learning remotely been for you? How has that experience been for you? Are you still able to learn as you feel at the same level as if you were in a classroom?
So I'm very fortunate, and I'm sure a lot of my peers feel this way as well, to have really accommodating teachers where they have been really going out of their way to help us and be available to us, even if it's just to talk. They will have like an hour almost every day on Zoom or Google Meet or whatever platform, just to talk and keep us updated and help us in whatever way possible. We're also very fortunate to live in a time where there's lots of different online options available for learning. So it's been definitely difficult. Of course, we'd all prefer to be in a classroom situation, but the hardest part, of course, everybody knows this, is definitely just the motivation, especially as a senior, because senioritis is already a thing, whether you're on campus or not. And to be at home as a senior without seeing your friends, without all the fun events that you look forward to, it's like, do I really want to do this work just to sit in my house? You know what I mean? But we
Yeah.
worked so hard for so many years that we wouldn't want to just give it all away. So it's been hard, but we've been managing for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to talk a little bit about not being able to see your friends as you used to in terms of in person, be it at school, at sporting events, at other school events. How difficult has that been? I'm sure, you're still using the phone and the texting and the social media connections, but how different and difficult has it been to not socially, personally meet with any of your friends?
It's definitely been one of the hardest parts because senior year in itself, with or without the whole coronavirus situation, is already hard because you're saying bye to your lifelong friends and you're savoring your very last moments with them, particularly in this final 3 months that this is occurring during of senior year. This is when you want to be with your friends. This is when you want to savor the moments and have fun and see each other and go to sports events like you said and have events such as like Mr. Hilltopper is a well-known Durfee tradition, like prom, of course, stuff that we've looked forward to for so many years, and just being in each other's company, like in a classroom, even not even like anything extravagant. So that's definitely been among the hardest parts is just not seeing each other. Of course, like you said, we're lucky to live in a time where we can stay connected through our phones, but it's not the same, you know what I mean?
I have to joke with you a little bit. Mr. Hilltopper is a thing. When I graduated, by the way, I'm a Durfee grad as well. Way
Really?
back, yeah, well, way back when, 1983, I graduated from BMC Durfee High School. We used to have Senior Follies, which used to be a talent show. Is Mr. Hilltopper? I don't even know what that is. Is that a male type thing? What is Mr.
Yeah.
Hilltopper?
It's like a it's like a joke type of like male pageant talent show thing. I don't even know how to explain it. Um, it's really fun. It's the
Yeah.
boys always have fun doing it and they're funny. So we were looking forward to it, but we're gonna try and find a way to salvage it if possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you about that. Has there been any official indications about some of the events? I know that some proms have already been canceled. Some graduations still up in the air. What do you know about some of the events at Durfee, whether they will or will not be happening?
So my advisors, like our class advisors and our class principal and I and my fellow officers have been having so many meetings, like countless meetings, throughout this entire period, just trying to salvage everything. They're really passionate. They're really passionate advisors. They care a lot about our class. They will fight for us. They just had a meeting this morning actually trying to figure out how to salvage what and what to prioritize. The top priorities, of course, being graduation first and then prom, but just trying to save our events and make up for the events that can't be had. So, we're very fortunate because our teachers care so much about us and want us to have such like the senior year that we can have given the situation. But of course, it's been hard because you know, we can't be near each other. And it's hard to keep motivation and keep yourself in the moment of high school when you're not in high school, of course. But our class has been known ever since we got to Durfee for our spirit and, our unity. So we've definitely been seeing that bleed through in our efforts.
Yeah, there are actually. I've done some reading about how some in your class actually were born right after 9/11. So a lot of people are sort of combining, a tragedy that happened early on. Some of you were born right after 9/11, comparing it to now on how that whole 18-year period, sort of the beginning and end of your school years, has sort of been dominated by some tragedy. I don't know if that's been brought up by any of your friends at all.
Yeah, it's definitely something we've seen even like on social media. I know there's lots of schools that have had their seniors make videos like highlighting that, just like the strength and like resilience of our age group. My birthday is actually the month after 9/11, and a lot of my peers are as well. So yeah, we were definitely born in a difficult time. We're leaving school, as you said, in a difficult time. So it's definitely been a test. Our experiences have been very different and unprecedented than anything else I've ever heard of. I've never heard of anything like this within the generations that I know. But it's brought us together for sure. It's made us much more grateful in ways that other people might not ever even be able to feel for the times that we did have, because we're one of the only groups of people that have had it taken away from us in this sense, you know what I mean? So it's taught us to be grateful. It's taught us to savor every moment. It's taught us to live every day like it's our last because we've had to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. So let me just ask you, in terms of what you hope to see over the next couple of months, are you hopeful that something will happen in terms of events, even if it's after the traditional day of a prom or graduation? Are you hoping that something will happen, or is it something that maybe I know I told you this before we started. My daughter is also a high school senior, and so there I'm living through the same experience through her, having to deal with not being with her friends or not being close at a time when you want to savor, as you said, that last moment. And they're actually thinking of maybe doing something like a year from now, sort of like an early reunion. High school classes have reunions from time to time, and maybe they're thinking about having a big party further on. So has there been any concrete ideas on what you would like to see maybe before you head away to college and to the next steps?
Yeah, I think that's a really sweet idea for your daughter's class. I personally have been very passionate about the idea of just doing something. Like, of course, before Governor Baker declared like no more school, I just wanted one more day of school. It didn't have to be even an event. I just wanted one more like time where we could all be
Mm.
together in that situation. And of course, that's not possible anymore. So there is like speculation of a graduation maybe in August, if applicable, if the situation has, eased by then, or a prom maybe in August before we all leave for college. As for like next year, like November around Thanksgiving time has been talked about, but that's been kind of not for me personally, but like among who I've talked to amongst our senior
Mm.
class, there's mixed opinions on it. A lot of us would rather have something than nothing, but we also feel like by November, by the time we're all in college, if we go to college and if we get to go live on campus, it'll be kind of we've moved on. That's what a lot of my friends have been saying.
Yeah.
I personally feel really passionately about, just one more thing, whatever that may be, especially at graduation, because you wait for graduation your whole life. Um, so I would take anything over nothing, no matter when it is. But I do understand the people who would rather just accept it and move on. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
August would be most ideal, though. So hopefully, fingers crossed, everything can be okay by then.
Let me ask you, you have the opportunity right now to maybe talk to some of your classmates who may be watching this either on delay or even right now live. What would you tell them in terms of keeping their chins up and forging ahead?
So, to my classmates who are also seniors in the class of 2020, we've made it this far. We've always been a strong class. We've always been a united class, especially at Durfee. We've always had so much school spirit. We've been here for each other. We've been supportive of our school, and I know we can continue. For Durfee, particularly, I promise you, we're going to do everything we can to try and salvage whatever we can. And, it's going to be unique. It's not going to be like the typical senior year that you imagine because that's not possible. But we're trying to give you the best experience we can possibly give you. And to the underclassmen, I think this is a lesson, that we all would want to give to you, just to savor every moment, live every day like it's your last. Like, go out, go to the football game, go to the party with your friends, like do it and live, because you don't want to have any regrets in the end. I know I don't, because I made a point of living my high school career to the fullest, but you never know when it can get taken away because anything can happen. So enjoy it.
Noor Issa, Student Body Vice President, Durfee High School. I wish you all the best and the senior class of 2020. There's a lot going on in your lives above and beyond what is normally going on at this time in your life. So thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Best of luck with the rest of your studies this year and your studies ahead. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
I want to again thank Noor for joining us today, and I also want to thank you for joining us on this telecast. Please continue to visit our website, frmedia.org, for all the information that we're providing you here at FRC Media. So for all of us here at FRC Media, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great rest of your day.